What's up guys, welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to talk to you guys about how I made such a big profit on the ZHP that I picked up. So from my last video, I think I showed you guys the ZHP that I brought at Copart. I actually picked that up for $1,800, but after fees and all the things that Copart charges, it was about $2,600. I never actually looked at the vehicle before I purchased it. I actually just bought it sight unseen. And it was actually my first time buying a car from Copart. Say probably my second flip that I've been doing in the last 6 months. But I wanted to talk to you guys and share what I did and what I had to do to fix it, get it drivable, and then all the things that I had to do in Arizona to get the car registered and titled. So we'll go ahead and start with the first picture of when I looked at it online. This is the picture that I looked at online first, and basically this was the really the only damage that I saw from when I looked at it. You can see the front fender is pretty jacked up. Hood looks a little dented. Bumper obviously was messed up. The headlight looked like it was cracked. So looked at most of the other pictures, everything seemed to be intact. I did notice that the airbag, had blown and deployed. But other than that, the car looked pretty okay. One thing I did notice is that it ran in drive. Me being new to Copart, I really didn't understand what that meant. So I just assumed that when I picked it up from Copart, it would run in drive. But as I started to research the E46 a little bit more, I actually learned that whenever an airbag deploys, there's a battery safety terminal that blows, I guess, in the trunk compartment and doesn't allow the car to be started. So I did notice that initially when I tried to start the car when I picked it up. And let me show you what it looked like the day I picked it up. So from this angle, it doesn't look too bad. It looked pretty decent, I would say. Bumper was missing a few pieces. Overall didn't really look too bad. I did, like I mentioned, I tried to start it, it wouldn't start, so there was that. This is the rear quarter panel on the driver's side. Again, nothing too bad. Paint was in pretty good shape from what I could tell. Interior was pretty clean. Other than it did have some sagging, I believe, in the headliner, and then it also had the A, B, and C pillars that were not, coming undone, I guess. Rear looked pretty good. Taillights worked, everything worked. Only thing is it wouldn't start. Had the car towed to my house. Have AAA, so that was pretty easy. It was, I think, 30 minutes away, Copart, from my house, so I have the Plus package, so they towed it for free. So this is a picture of the car. I removed the fender just to try to see what was wrong with it. One thing that didn't anticipate having a problem with is the passenger side wheel would not move as easily as a driver's side, and that was because the tie rod was actually snapped. So it actually wouldn't stay in place, so it kept wanting to turn sideways. So it really made it hard when we were trying to get it on the tow truck, but we figured out a way, and I just pretty much held the wheel straight while the tow guy pulled the thing forward. Also, I didn't bring a tow hook, and this one was missing all of the OEM tools in the trunk compartment, so that was kind of shitty. But we got it on and we got it home. I started tearing it apart. You can see here I have it on jack stands. Was just trying to see what sort of issues it had. Had a pretty nasty oil leak from the oil filter housing gasket in the upper Vanos line. So that was something I didn't really anticipate, but I figured, being an E46 M54, that it would have some sort of oil leak. But other than that, that was really the only major thing I saw. You could see pictures of it here. Pretty good shape, like I mentioned. Really bad interior shot. So here I actually had to replace the airbag. So on my way home, I think before I went to Copart to pick the car up, I went to go pay for it, and I actually stopped by Pull and Save pick apart junkyard and found an airbag. So I popped that on, removed it from the donor car, and then popped it on the E46, and you can see here it looks pretty clean. So here I think I got the car started here. I'm trying to think, but yes, I believe I got the car started here. What I had to do in order for me to get the car started, I had to actually go to the battery safety terminal, and what I did is I removed the black cover and then just essentially connected the two lines like this. I'll post a picture here. And basically, the car didn't have that little black cover on it, but it felt pretty tight and it wouldn't move. So car started right up. Here I actually had a spare headlight from just finding parts at the junkyard, and got it to work and got it to turn on. So it was pretty easy for me to have that. And that headlight, I want to say, was only like 40 bucks. I think I had like multiple headlights. This one had the clear lens on it, the other one had the amber, so I threw on this one. I still have the other headlight, and I think I'm just going to use that for parts if I ever need it or anything like that. So the bumper support bar was bent, so I ended up just chucking that, don't need that. Started working on the fender, and you can see I actually bought a couple fenders. One was damaged, and so I threw that one on here. This one was not as damaged as the other one, but it was still damaged. So I threw it on just to see what it would look like. There wasn't a whole lot of damage there. There is a piece underneath the headlight that actually was somewhat bent, so I had to pry that back. So that way when I aligned the bumper bar, it would be pretty solid. So got that all straight, no issues. Here, just kind of taking a picture of it again, from further away. So here is where I noticed the control arm was bent actually, and I don't know if you can see it, but it's right beneath like where the Y, like right in the middle of the Y is where it was bent, and it was bent like up. So when I drove the car, just to see how it drove, it was all over the place. The steering wheel was all the way to the right, and just wasn't, you could tell it wasn't running good. So I thought the tie rod would fix it and it didn't. So I ended up picking up a new control arm. So you can kind of see it there. And then here's another picture. Yep. Yeah, you can kind of see that it's pretty bent up. Alright, so here's a picture of the wheel. You can see that it's moved really back, and that's because the control arm was bent. So I knew that it was off, so I had to get that fixed by getting a new control arm so that it would position it further forward. I also mentioned that I had to get a new hood, so here you can see the new hood. I did get some grills that came. I think the ones off of the car actually were still in pretty good shape, so I just reused those and threw them on. They were black grills, so worked pretty good. I did pick up a bumper bar support at the junkyard, and this one was a little bent, but not too bad. So it was actually worked pretty well. And then here I moved the car to the street. Looks pretty good, no really big issues. And here she is with the bumper on. So put everything back on just to see what it would look like to test fit it, and fit pretty good. You can see the fender. I wasn't really happy about that because I wanted it to look good, So I ended up getting the hood and the bumper painted. You can kind of see here I'm installing everything, putting everything back. I did have a bunch of miscellaneous parts that I had removed, so I was just trying to figure out where everything goes, all the plastics and all that stuff. I think there was stuff on the left, on the passenger side that was missing, that I didn't have all of it, so I kind of left that alone. But you can see here everything's looking good, and got the bumper aligned, which was kind of a pain in the ass, to be honest, but it all, you know, worked out well. And then here she is, you know, with the bumper on and the hood painted. Looks pretty good. And then here's the interior. After I did a pretty deep clean, I did get some floor mats. I actually had some E46 M3 floor mats as extras that I wasn't using, so I just threw them in there to, you know, make it look a little better. All right, and then here is pretty much the finished product. So you can see the fender is looks a lot better, and yeah, the fender looks so much better. Here you can see the bumper and everything in the front end looks good, just pretty much like factory. So yeah, everything looks pretty good. Was a little dirty engine bay wise, so I did clean that up. You know what I did is I had to get the car inspected here in Arizona because I did get a salvage title, and in order for me to get like a rebuilt or restored salvage is what they call it in Arizona, I had to get it inspected at the I think by the state troopers, and they pretty much do like a pretty thorough inspection on it, and I think it took like maybe 30 minutes. I had to make an appointment and to get it fully inspected, and so that actually took me, I think, about like 3 weeks before I could do that, just because their appointments are so far out. But car passed inspection and was able to get it titled and everything. So I didn't plan on keeping this car, although I really did enjoy it. I just kind of wanted to flip it. So what I did is I went down to the registration office and basically changed the title to be a salvage title in my name. And I had the inspection sheet that said it passed, which I would then give to the new owner, and then they could then go and register. I priced the car originally around, I think, $800. Maybe it was $9,000, I can't remember. But didn't get a lot of hits, and I had the car listed maybe for like a couple weeks. No one actually came to see it. A lot of people were offering me like $4,500, $5,000. I think one offered me like $5,500. But you know, the amount of ZHPs out there that look as clean as this car did after I fixed it really weren't a lot, and I ended up selling it for $7,000 after a couple weeks of having it on the market, which I thought was pretty good. And what I put into it, so a couple things I had to purchase. Obviously the car, right? $2,600 out the door from Copart with all the fees that they charge. Wasn't expecting it to be that high, but didn't regret it, although it did kind of make me nervous because I wasn't sure if I'd be able to sell the car for as much as I did. I was kind of thinking initially like maybe $5,000, you know, just for a quick sell. But after I fixed it up and made it look good, I was like, this can probably get a little bit more money. So I did that. I had to get the tie rod, control arm, had to get the airbag, the bumper bar, the bumper and the hood, and then paint. So after everything was done, everything is said and done, I think I was about $3,500 total. I put about $1,000 into it, which actually isn't too bad compared to make it look the way it did. And yeah, I think so I made like $3,500 on that deal, which was pretty good in my books. I'd say from start to finish, it probably took me about a month and a half, 2 months to do that. I obviously spent money and all that stuff. And you know, one thing I had been doing was going to, so I started looking at alarms for E46s and going to junkyards and trying to find them, and I found many and was selling them. And then I started venturing into other parts, started selling those. So I've been doing that, and I actually made a lot of money, enough to buy this car and more. So I've been doing that. I actually bought a car for my wife recently. Bought her a 2022 GLB Mercedes-Benz, and used a lot of the money that I made just flipping parts and things like that. So pretty good side hustle. I do work full-time. What's up with the ZHP? It's gone now. I think it's been sold now for a couple weeks. I know I posted that video last week, but really had that footage for a few weeks, and I'm going to try posting a little bit more. There is a few different cars that I'm thinking about buying. Was thinking about buying an E46 M3 Coupe off of Copart, but ended up not getting it. The guy wanted way too much money. I did get the winning bid at $3,500, but the guy wanted $6,500, and I was not going to pay that for a car that was kind of sketchy to begin with. But I felt like $3,500 would have been you know, a pretty good gamble. But wanted to make this video just to give an update on the ZHP, and yeah, we'll catch you guys on the next video for now, and peace out, guys.